Hey, what's up, YouTube? It's your boy Big J Money here. Busy for like, I've been busy for like the past few weeks. A lot of stuff's been going on. My apologies for that, but I want to make at least a quick video on YouTube to at least explain what I've been doing, like what's been going on with me, and at least give you guys a little update on what we're doing. So, first, fast forward. First, let's begin with pretty much the first thing. One of the first things I've been doing is recently, the past couple weeks, has been dealing with my work and dealing with. I'm gonna minimize this. Just my computer is going through its update, so that wasn't my face. But the past few weeks I've been busy with like trying to at least, or right now, kind of been trying to deal with this whole apartment stuff, as I've have like significant amounts of maintenance issues. I won't get into too many details. A lot of them is like involving roaches. One of them, a big one is pretty much right now. I have this dishwasher that's been out since like mid late December of last year, and has still not been fixed. I think I don't know if it's been replaced. I've had a broken toilet seat, which I actually replaced it myself since they were taking way too long to replace it. And actually, I just realized, like, as soon as this is done, I actually was gonna call rent office, tell them like, hey, you guys replace the toilet seat to replace the toilet seat that I just replaced the original one that was broken with one that was better, and you just pretty much replaced it with another slightly better plastic toilet seat. So either you got that toilet seat right in the back, or B, you better reimburse me because I got the receipt right. I got the receipt right here. So that's just something that was going on. I just want to put that out there. Also, I got this. Also, I still have this hole in like the ceiling that's been going on. You can see my Twitter. Go to my Twitter. I pretty much made a recent like Fred about my whole situation about this toilet seat. So about the toilet seat, and I kind of talked about the ceiling, aluminum ceiling, which I actually took a photo of. So go to my Twitter. Links in the description. So one of it. So I've been dealing with that, dealing with a bunch of those things recently. Dealing with those things. Also, I've been also like, another thing was like, I kind of was like taking a little time to myself, especially when Super Bowl, especially post Super Bowl, because the first couple weeks, kind of like a couple week break, like a little off season for me, because of like a good chunk of time I usually talk about football. Football's like kind of a big thing. I kind of will find something else to talk about, but it's kind of like for me, it's a lot of my stuff is like probably going to be football. I don't want to talk about basketball much because, as you can see here, this here, UL Cardinals are not doing that good, are not that good, and trying to talk about the whole thing about the coaching situation and all that stuff is kind of like, to me, I just don't want to be like that. Baseball is no longer exists, but baseball is pretty much. I don't follow baseball like that, but baseball's now in a lockout, so usually at this point we're kind of talking about. I do an MLB preview, but MLB preview, NBA. I don't watch a lot of NBA stuff like that. My my team is actually the San Antonio Spurs, and I don't have that much the most confidence DeJounte Murray's cold though. DeJounte Murray is a cold player for your team, but I don't follow that like that. Hockey, I could watch some. I might watch a little more hockey by the time like playoffs time, where they get closer to the playoffs. I might stay around for the playoff preview. Not playoff. Probably when the trade deadline comes around, which I think is some point next week or so. I don't know. I don't know exactly, but I kind of want to watch it. And I might figure out some stuff around the lines. I think since WrestleMania is about a month from now, I'm probably going to be probably I might watch more of a Raw and SmackDown leading up to it. I might do something for WrestleMania. Not going to do anything like crazy for WrestleMania. Just probably watch it with probably my Esther and someone else in the house. So, in the apartment. But that's besides the point. This isn't like a. I am going to get back into the podcast stuff. I've just been a lot of stuff's been going on, so I wanted to clarify that. Another thing is for the past couple of months. One thing I've been doing is kind of been like taking time to like focus on like myself and stuff. Like if anyone doesn't know, on because I actually made a video earlier in November for my birthday. It was I'm blessed to be 25 years old, and if you want to watch it, look at the iCard. So it's gonna be up here. You can go to that video and watch it. In that video, I pretty much talked about me being blessed to be 25 because around this time a decade ago, I kind of would have made a decision to either run away from home or choose to like self-delete, basically, or self-delete, and made that choice, and that was a choice I could have made, but as you can see, I didn't make that choice, but something about that, but there was like a point of time, like, I was like, had this feeling of like loneliness, and like, usually around Valentine's Day, I usually get into like this loneliness, like this feeling of loneliness, and like this feeling of like depression for like a good period. It's usually like, it's kind of teeters a bit of one in a week or two after New Year's, and it comes around towards Valentine's Day, and it usually lingers a bit, like a week or two after Valentine's Day. And Valentine's Day, that was an ambulance, or a fire truck, one. And one of the things is like I pretty much and that feeling like usually lingers a bit around times. So one of the things is like, so that thing usually lingers around that time frame. I'm usually at that point I'm overdepressed. Some cases I've gotten away. And usually at times you kind of like hold in like that feeling of like that loneliness, and it's like that thing pretty much kept me innocent. So that thing created like a dark cloud in my life for lingered around. Like it was like this dark cloud that kind of stayed around for a bit, and it usually like actually what I did when I was like 25 years ago. When I was 5 years ago, I pretty much made a choice of like paying for the box, paying for paying for box basically, and that's like ended up losing my virginity basically from that. And it kind of that's kind of how like because that feeling of like of loneliness being away pretty much helped kept that at least made the car go away for a minute, but it's like eventually that car will keep coming back in, and that led to like that road of like me paying for box for like a good chunk of like my 20. Then I decided, then it's like after 21 I realized like, man, this is kind of like, because also it was like that point in time, like 5 years ago I was starting to not like school. Because I understand at 20 I was in college and I was also working part-time at UPS, and this is like at the time when I was a package handler. So there was a point in time like, so at 20 I pretty much was working as a package handler, working late night, early morning, or I hardly see anybody, any of my friends, trying to develop a social life at nighttime was different, would be difficult, because if you're working because your hours at night are limited, because you're like, I can't really stay out, I can't hang out, and we can't do anything very late, because I got work at like 10 at night. I gotta be at work at like 10 o'clock at night. So that becomes an issue. Then I'm like, what's worse is like during the day I'm going to school. One of the things is like trying to be dating is kind of tough, especially at the time I actually tried Tinder. For a long while, and one of the things about Tinder is if you're young, I say this, my advice to anyone that's about have an average look, like you're like, if you're on the rating scale, like you're a 5 or 4, 5, 6 level of like in terms of the looks. If the personality is at 10, but you're like your looks in except for that 5 or 6, 4 or 6 range, I do not recommend Tinder, Bumble, any dating sites, because everything usually focuses mostly on looks. Basically. So at that point in time, that's what, because a lot of times you would just swipe, you on Tinder, you're going to swipe right on like almost every single like profile. You ever gain no response, you may get a response, but talking to them will take like a day or two. Or if you find one that actually you do find someone, it's actually a bot. And it's a nice girl, and you think everything's going by like perfectly smooth. You actually look like you're about to go on a date, or you're about to do the deed. You find out it's a bot, because it's pretty much trying to get you to some cam site or some other dating site where it's free to sign up, but in order to like even send any messages, you gotta pay. You have to pay like they're pretty much asking you to pay for a premium membership, and it's somehow like $40 a month or some BS or some crap like that. So it's like it's like that type of level. So it's like, so one of the things was, so that was something about that so that was something that was hard for me. It didn't take until like, I think, and that was something like I dealt with like at 21, and like 21 I was dealing with that. it didn't take until I turned 21 until I realized like this isn't really like the healthiest thing for me. So I pretty much just like I realized I need to stop it. But the thing was like that. So I did. So I tried. So I actually like said to myself, I'm gonna stop this. I'm gonna focus on like me getting like, I'm gonna focus on me getting a new gaming computer, starting like my own gaming channel on YouTube and on Twitch, which I actually do have a gaming channel on YouTube, which is J Money Gaming, which I think the link to it is in the description. Link is in the description, or usually in the end of the video. Usually, I actually have like, as see, is like a picture of like Marth. Marth is like that's the from Smash 4. That is actually my gaming channel, which I have not done. Sadly, I have not done any. And if anyone's wondering, like, watch those videos, if everyone's wondering, like, where I've been with that gaming channel, basically, that gaming computer I had, I worked to pay for, which was, like, I think $700, $800. Pretty much, I ended up losing that when I actually had to move out of and vacate an apartment I lived in with my sister that year, that time frame, because I was like, my goal was like, you know what? Because actually, one of the things I decided was like, I dropped out of school because why am I going to something that I'm pretty much just like, I don't really give a fuck as much. I don't care about as much. I think now I don't care about school as much now, but I think later on in the future I might go to school. I might go back to school. Like what I want to study, I don't know exactly. That'll be something I'll look into in the future. But one of the things is like, so during that time frame, for like I say a good year, I never tried to pay for a box at all. Like I tried not to do it. It didn't come back until the part that made me change my mind and decided to. I ended up regressing back to it over a year later. At that point where I pretty much was like, you know what? It can't be that. I might do it. I'll just do this one time. Because at one time I decided before I pretty much was like, well, I'm pretty much not gonna be living in this apartment anytime soon. I might as well get something. I might as well get it in one time in this apartment before I at least leave. So, just found someone for like cheap and handle that business. But I ended up like learning but eventually I ended up learning a lesson because eventually a few weeks later I ended up having an I believe an STI. So I'm not gonna discuss what it was. I just know I just got something. Let's just say I ended up paying a consequence like from that a few years ago, and I pretty much kind of learned my lesson. But it's like, yeah, that happened. So that happened, and it kind of was like an off and on thing. I usually wouldn't think about doing it, and usually like a few months later, I pretty much go back to it, and it was like something I kept doing more and more. It didn't get to the point until like after I turned 24, and pretty much last year, which is 2021, because in March or April, I finally ended up getting my inheritance from my late grandfather, who, grandfather, and also, well, actually kind of started in 2020, because right before I started my current job at UPS now, and actually I'm going to get to that in a minute, I ended up I was actually getting unemployment. So I ended up getting for like the first couple, the first few months, I remember I was getting like the $1,200 stimulus and like the $600 stimulus and the $600 like unemployment for like a good 2 free months. And I mean, I did like a bunch of chaotic good and then some chaotic evil shit. I was kind of chaotic neutral, especially me with money now. It's like, I'm like I will spend, don't get me wrong, I will take care of bills and expenses. But if I have like more if I have more than what I use, I'm spending like a lot of it on free key things at that point in time. It's like either one like is like fast food. Like I pretty much say is this. Like last year I pretty much calculated all the Uber Eats purchases I've made. I say if I use that money, all the money I spend on Uber Eats towards like probably towards like putting in savings, that shit I would have like towards his apartment more towards his apartment. I'd be caught up with any bill. I'd be caught up with rent, a lot of rent, a lot of bills. I would be more in a stable like situation I'm in, because I'll be much better. I'm be in a much better situation than I am now. So than I am now. So that another thing what I did was like in 2020, going into 2021, OnlyFans, which blew up during the pandemic. I was on them. I won't say I had to see the. I'm not gonna say I was like that word, but you know what I'm talking about. But I did have like, I pretty much me. I'm making this clear. Sidebar. The word simp has been used so much. I don't use that term. I would say I had a term. The term I had was CFD, which is chronic female dependency. So that is kind of what it was with OnlyFans. And after OnlyFans was kind of me getting back to like what I was doing with escorts, and I pretty much from the pandemic to when I started going back to work, because also at the time I was living with my parents at the time before moving to the apartment. So for like to when the pandemic hit, so like I wasn't doing. It was like, because when I started hooking up with started doing like my stuff with like a source, it was like a once in a blue moon, like once every few months. It's like, fuck it, I was like, it was like a, fuck it, I need to get it out of my system, like every couple months. Like, you know what, let me just get this out the way now. Get this out the way now. Like, get out of the way right now, so that way let me get out the way now. So, right now before I go to work. So, before I start work. For like, I go to work or something. So, you know, and types of thing. So there was that. It wasn't until like in 2019, late 2019. Fast forward to when 2020 came around, when the pandemic came around, and everything was starting to shut down. Then it's like you start getting that excess amount of money. I pretty much was like, I decided at that point was like, I'm like, I'm gonna take care of like my bills, food and such, and then everything left over, I didn't think about putting that. Let me, I'm gonna put this money in the savings account. Nope, I just chose pay for export, like pretty much. I'm not gonna say every week, but it's like I say any free time I got my unemployment, I pretty much just started using a little bit of time to on getting pretty much on escort. Like it's like, so it was like a kind of like a bi-weekly thing. Like I like once every 2 weeks just go to whatever I'm feeling that day. Just wherever, that's where I'm looking at that day. Some I was a regular customer of like one that was kind of alright, and it was like, then it's like, okay, this is kind of boring because it was kind of like doing the same shit, and like she kind of was like, kind of ended up being kind of dependent on. I was kind of someone who was close by and was kind of like dependent, and basically like I will not, I don't have the biggest Powerball in the world, but for her it was like the best thing. So it was like she was kind of like, oh, let's just say she's kind of like, oh, like my dick wasn't too big, it wasn't too small, it was actually just right. So but that was like something that happened for like I'd say a good few months, and then I just like, I'm like, yeah, it's just, and it was just like the first few times it was like, okay, it was kind of alright, but it's like, I don't think I'm not getting more than what I want, so I'm like, I'm gonna go find someone, so I just found someone else. Eventually I like broke communications with her, so this goes on from like, I guess the start of the pandemic till like, I say around June, July. I say to when I start, till I moved to the apartment. So this is what it is now. When I first moved to the apartment, I end up, because actually what anyone was no, I think deposit I had to pay like $11.50 or something like that. No, it's $12.50 I think, because I had to pay like 2 months rent in advance, which covered the first month and the last month. Plus first month and last month's rent, and like I think a top deposit, I think in the water sewage bill, and then they also put in an extra 2 months rent, so extra 2 months in as well. So I pretty much, so one thing is like, fast forward to it, is one things I did was like within the first couple weeks after I got the apartment set up, and I was also clear of like being crushed in the COVID protocols, because I ended up getting COVID like right on the same, as positive the same day I actually signed the papers to my lease. So yeah, I signed papers for my lease, so that was messed up. One thing is like, I ended up kind of getting back into doing this, and then it's like, then it's like, but then it's like, you kind of start realizing, then I kind of started looking at the money I have left after all the money I spent on the apartment and everything else. I realized I am, yeah, I don't have that much left. So then I kind of started taking a moment of like the reality. It's like now I'm like, I'm not living with my parents, so it's not like my rent is no longer like $35 a month. It's like $575 a month. I now have to pay for my own electricity, my own internet, which I was already doing prior. I was already doing that prior. I got a water bill. I gotta pay on this credit card, this secure credit card with my bank. I'm paying like this installment loan, which is kind of was something that was up by my bank, which bank we got a lot more bills and debts to where we can't waste it on those, and that's been something that I worked on for like the past couple months. I've worked on for like the past few months trying to not go back to it. I didn't do any more of it until like mid to late November. And it was like one of those days I was just like, I need to get it out. And I decided, okay, no matter what, this is like the last time. Like Dominic Corral said, like one last time. Like this is the last time I do this. So I paid for it. Because what I did, I actually walked from my apartment to where I went to, which was a long walk. I'd say a very long walk. Handle that business. Handle that last time. And then I pretty much made a promise to myself, like, we need to change some shit up. So at that point we had to change stuff up. So that's why when I started the year off, one of the things I was decided to focus on was not just my physical health, which right now I'm kind of down like a good 7-8 pounds right now. I started at 296. Now I'm like 289. So I'm down 7, but yesterday I was like 288, and like I was also like 287 like Monday. So, and that's after like doing a fast, so 36-hour fast. So, when the issues I did was like, so one thing I did was like not just focus on like my physical health, but also another thing was develop like discipline myself, which is one of the things I did was trying to discipline myself more. And one of the things was me not paying for escort, pay for the like sex work. So one of the things I did was like, so the first month. So this is like what I did for like the first month was like not try to pay for sex work at all. And I'm gonna say like that first month was probably the most difficult month. Was probably a difficult month because internally, in my mind, I'm just like, because eventually that dark cloud finally like, so speaking of that dark cloud, like that dark cloud started clearing away more, and it basically started like manifested itself into like this mirror of myself. I kind of just, and it's like a dark mirror of myself. Like a mirror of myself. Like pretty much it's just like all things you're doing is like, wait a minute, you're getting rid of this, like, and it's like you kind of ask yourself that question. 1 second. Sorry, alarm. So one of the things is like you actually have this like mirror of yourself. Like it's pretty much this dark version of yourself, and I pretty much just this mirror image kept talking to me like every day. Like it's just like pretty much like why would you actually stop this? Like why are you getting rid of this? Like why are you ending this? Like why are you making this choice? And it's like these people helped us out. These people like helped us through, like without them we pretty much wouldn't be here right now. Like it's just like, and it was like it was kind of like a guilt trip thing. Like they were trying, it was like this mirror was like trying to tell me like, what are you doing? Like why are you doing this? Like why are you going back at it? And it's like every day, because at that point every day I kind of went back and looked at like this directly of like sex workers, like phone numbers, and it's like, you need this. Like, well, stop trying to. Well, don't just let go. Like try it. And it's like almost every day I'm just like, just no. No, like I refuse. Like this is no longer a priority now. My priority now. Like this isn't my focus. This shouldn't be the focus right now. Like right now we got bills and debts we need to focus on now before anything else. This is the objective now, not this. Not any of this. And it's like, okay, then that's still like, you should, but still like, okay, that's great, but it's like, okay, but I don't care. Still do it, and I'm like, every day, just constantly, just try it, go, like stop giving in, just do it, and it's like it was bad. Like for I think day 15 was like I was really close, and I just found a way to say no. And I really found a way to say no to really go hard. No, we are not doing this. Like we're absolutely not doing this. And that was, I say, and then the next 2 weeks started getting easier to like resist, easier to resist, and then it was like day 31. So it was like January 31st. There was a point I was going to type in that website, and then it's like, then I pretty much is like, I haven't, like, I pretty much have typed this thing on this website, had this website in my memories like every single day for like the past month, and I could have just went ahead with setting up something, but I didn't. Why am I going to this thing again? It's like pretty much as like you playing the exact same. It's like the definition of insanity. You doing the same thing and expecting a different outcome. It's like, bruh, if I've typed in this website and I've just looked through all like these ads, all the ads they make, and I didn't decide to respond to any of them, what makes me think it's going to be different now? So I just chose not to do it, and I just went on about my day. Went on about my day. And I didn't think about it at that point, and now I don't even think about it now, and it's the next month. I didn't even go on that site. I haven't gone on that site, any of that site that I used to find escorts at all anymore for all February. And it's over now. Like, I have not touched it. I've probably not been on that website at all anymore. My point is, like, right now, because one of the things is, like, I pretty much is told that Demon, like, stop. You were done. I'm no longer that person I used to be anymore. Like, I'm not distracting myself from what I need to do. It's going to take a lot more than, like, than what I've been through stopping me. You can, like, invade my mind, my body, but it's like anything that keeps me going is, like, pretty much my own, is pretty much, well, as Vegeta said, his pride. Like, at this point, I'm like, everything I've done is like at this point, I pretty much just told that past me, like, listen, that part of us is no longer. That time, yes, that was a dark time, but I realized the things that came out of that, things that we have done and the things that we have made built us. Like, those, like, I'll admit, like, some of the stuff I did in my mind was dumb, and I honestly shouldn't have done things I did. But now it's like, I'm like, but if those events didn't happen, I wouldn't be where I'm at now. And I know it's like, and I know if anyone's like thinking like, I'm a less, I feel you're less of a human being than you are now. You aren't, like, you don't deserve, like, some part of you think like, I probably don't deserve what I have now, or whatever you think, or whatever you're thinking. It's like, I'm gonna just say this to you. The same thing I told that mirror is like, you can take whatever negative feeling you think about me, or whatever negative feeling you have, you can just take all of that shit and shove it up your ass. Because to me, so I say this to any people that felt affected by my decision. I felt affected by what I did 5 years ago, and anything I may have done over the years when I made that video, like, over 4 years ago, which was at that point in time one of the lowest points of my life. Loneliest points of my life, to where I am now. If you were affected by that, I apologize. Anything, and if you feel like I did was wrong, or any point I felt that I did was wrong, or you felt like I made mistake, like I alienated anybody, or feel like I like disown anybody, I apologize deeply. I apologize deeply. But if anyone who has stuck by me when I was going through that, and stuck by me years afterwards, then let me say thank you. And I'm saying this now, especially when this video comes saying this now, is the next 9 months. I want you guys to buckle up and get ready, because now, because I've been like, I consider myself in a recovery. This is kind of like a recovery stage. Coming soon is like, I'm going to be on the road of rebuilding myself. Like, I'm going to be, because of rebuilding myself, because right now because actually on Monday, March 14th, I'll be starting a whole new job at UPS, where where I'm going to be working as in a customer service job, and I'll be starting training at like 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. So I'll be doing I'm basically going to be have a more regular lifestyle, and one of the things I'll be doing is like trying to go to the gym more. I'll probably go to the gym later today, actually. And actually will be doing more is working out more, and actually start losing and going to the gym more, and actually start doing more stuff during for the next few months, because I plan on these stuff. I will be doing more stuff with the YouTube channel. And a lot of things I'll be doing is like, among them is doing a lot. Podcasts will still be going on, but one of the things I plan on doing is in April set up another channel where we're kind of focusing more on certain topical videos, some cases like reaction type videos, vlogs, pretty much. Somewhat it's a little bit more personal, some part is more different in how the channel is. Like, it's kind of like how I was doing the channel originally, which is the WrestleMania reactions, the certain topical videos of certain topic videos, and live stuff and is to go on, and a few other things. So make something like that, and then I do have intentions of bringing back the gaming channel. I think that would be something I want to do. It's something that's going to take some time to do, because I would have to work on because I would have to start kind of from scratch. I still have the keyboard, the mouse, and the recorder, the game recorder. So I have all of that. I just gotta work on getting new monitors, two new monitors, a brand new and a brand new gaming computer, which this time around will be much better than what I had last time. So I'm pretty much gonna get back to gaming again, because one of the things is now that I'm pretty much gonna be, for the first 9 weeks of training is gonna be, it's I get in and get out early afternoon. I'll probably finally have time to I might come back to what I was doing a while back, which was competitive Super Smash Bros. I used to do that, but I stopped until I actually kind of went back towards stopped, because trying to at least get to tournaments was kind of difficult, and two, I worked on late Fridays, late nights, so couldn't stay for tournaments. So, but now it's now that I got more time on my hands, now the evenings, free evenings, finally, first time in a while, I'll probably start doing more stuff like that. Everything is like, so, means I'm also gonna have time to like do a lot of things. Basically, a lot of things I can do, a lot of things in my free time. So it's like, I'm actually, all I'm gonna say is like, I'm planning on using this time to create a whole brand new chapter in my life. And I'm really, really happy to make that work. Because because for a while, I felt like I personally was in prison in my mind. My mind, I felt like I was in prison. But now I can say for the first time in a long time, and I'm happy to say this, I am truly free. I don't feel like I'm free. I don't think I'm free. I don't believe I'm free. I just know I am free. So, to anyone that has any doubts about me, I'll say this. I've been, I've, I pretty much have seen a bit of hell. I don't know. I kind of put myself through hell. I won't say it's the best place in the world. In some cases, it's a little liberating, but if you have, but if you think anybody, anyone can put me through the hell I've been through, let me say this to you carefully. I'm gonna take this glass off first. I am thirsty. And I have an insatiable appetite. If you think I'm gonna be, I was anxious before, my friends, these days, all I want to eat and drink is my enemy's flesh and blood. That's all I'm going to say. And if you're not up for that, and another message I can say is simple, and that's simply this. All I say is, if anyone else you still don't think I got what it takes, well, let me say this. I appreciate you for listening to this, and all I can say is, in the words of the great Chisel Adonis, hold my nuggets and suck my dick. Oh, till then, my friends, get ready, because we're gonna be I'll be doing a new episode of the podcast this week, coming up in Monday. I will have a new episode of the podcast coming up. I will be talking about probably UFC 270. What is it? 272, I believe. Which is UFC 272, I believe. Let me see. It's 272. UFC 272. And actually, also, like, during that same weekend, I believe, I think it's tomorrow? Actually, this Sunday is AEW's Revolution, but I think Impact Sacrifice. Yep, same show tomorrow. Yep, that is the same show, which is tomorrow. Which is Sacrifice. Which actually is tomorrow, and sadly I will not be watching that, sadly. So, unfortunately, this is actually here in Louisville, which actually sucks. Because there's actually some good things in here. Because actually there's like some former Ring of Honor people in here. Wrestlers here. There's going to be a match for it. And there's stuff like for the... There's like a bunch of matches in here. That's going to be interesting. So, sadly, I would not have any of that. So I will not be seeing that. But it is on, like, it's something that's on YouTube, which I think you have to, I don't know how you, I think if you pay for, I think you become a member, you can actually pay for it, to be a member. So, yeah. I won't be surprised. Now, I will be surprised if actually somehow I actually find a way of getting to. Actually, I will be surprised if somehow there's actually. Now, if someone actually I know is. Actually, my sister's. One of my sisters is a friend that actually does have. That actually works as a wrestler, but I'm not getting into that. But we'll get in. I might actually have him on here because actually there's a lot of things before WrestleMania. I'll probably talk to him about that. Maybe that'll be a good podcast episode. It's like talking to someone who actually trained in wrestling. He's actually a trained wrestler, so might see if we can set up something where we can talk about that and like see like the evolution of business. I don't know, but there's a lot of things we'll talk about. But yeah, thank you guys very much for watching this video. I hope if you guys sat through this entire video and among other things, please leave a like, share all of this around with your friends. Share all this with your friends. And please subscribe to the channel. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. Also go to, if you got Spotify and Apple Podcasts, please go like and follow the podcast. So that way you catch everything. Same thing with YouTube. Click the notification bell so that way you catch every new video comes out. Every new video comes out. Monoverse. So, thank you guys very much for watching. And until then, my friends, goodbye. And good night.